Hi, my name is Lance Crow, and this is my poetry explication of Langston Hughes' poem, I Too. The poem is fairly short, so trying to summarize it would probably take longer than just reading it, so I'm just going to read it real quick. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. I personally love this poem. I vehemently believe that all people are equal and deserve equal treatment and respect. This poem sort of gives me like a feeling of empowerment. It's not that if equality doesn't exist today, it will definitely exist at some point in the future. He says tomorrow, so at some point there will be equality and we will see it, and everyone will believe everyone else is equal. And anyone that opposes that equality will be seen as hateful and will not get the respect that they get now for how their actions are. So, relating this to personal experience, I am transgender, which they don't get treated as poorly as African Americans did in the early 1900s, and especially before that in America. But there is a similar sense of dehumanizing and just not respecting, like, at all. For instance, people, especially with pronoun issues, tend to like to say it to respond to transgender people if they are trying to disrespect them, to sort of dehumanize them as well as insult them at the same time, which not as bad as what black people experience, but it's like similar vein. And I've never experienced those types of things, but I'm in the communities. I see that other people experience it. So I sort of have that little bit of connection to this poem. Next step in my notes. So the setting that the poem was written in, I Too was published originally in America in 1926. So about 40 years after the abolition of slavery, and racism still a huge problem. And it was not uncommon for just everywhere to be racist. Like if you weren't in a particularly like black set community, many of the white people would have been racist back then. And Langston Hughes uses this racial inequality that was in America to give power to this work. There's no doubt expressed in the poem. He says, tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. He knows that someday equality will come for black people and they will be seen as the equals to the whites and just everyone else. Everyone will be seen as equal. And I think that's kind of beautiful. So, perspective. The speaker is describing current events at the time in America, though it's not a particular event. Racism against black Americans, very common, just everywhere. And it was summarized very well with the lines, they sent me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. Just hide them away. They are the undesirables, and it's just they were seen as worse, and people had this feeling that like white people had this feeling that they were better than black people and didn't want to be associated with them. And this perspective of racism being so popular in the time gives this feeling or sets the stage for the idea that black Americans will become equal. If there wasn't this great inequality that was existing in America at the time, this poem wouldn't mean anything. It would just be, like clearly it'd still be a poem, but it wouldn't be as powerful. It wouldn't be a movement like it is. Next, the voice of the speaker. I think the speaker gives a tone of being a revolutionary, not dissimilar to Martin Luther King Jr. Just truly expressing he believes in equality and wanting equality for everyone in America. Quoting Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Very, very popular quote. And it really just expresses that Martin Luther King had this vision that everyone should be equal, and that is similar to what is shown in Langston Hughes' I Too poem. Just everyone will be seen as similar. There will be no inequality. The people will be seen as worse if they oppose the inequality, or if they oppose the equality. There will, yeah, that's the end of that point. No reason to explain further. So, also elaborating on the speaker, clearly the poet who wrote the poem, Langston Hughes, he stated the ideas in the poem, but I believe that the speaker is meant to be the Black community as a whole. It is not just one Black person saying that they believe that equality will come. It is the entire Black community sort of exclaiming that equality will come one day and that they will be seen as equal and their voices will not be silenced. So, who I believe the speaker is addressing. I believe the poem expresses the belief that Black people are also an integral part of America. That is why Langston Hughes states, I too am America. America is supposed to be this mixing pot, of people. And it's not supposed to be just one race being above everyone else. That's not the idea that it was settled on. It was supposed to be this area where you can come, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, stuff like that. And it's just that that wasn't being expressed at the time. It's still not perfect today. And so Langston Hughes was expressing that Black people are a part of America, a very integral part. They are part of the people here. So I believe that the speaker is addressing all of America, but in particular the racist people. It is in defiance almost. It's a defiant tone that I get whenever he says, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. He's expressing that not only will they see that he is a person, he is equal, and he is a part of America as much as they are, that they will feel bad for how they treated him. Like he was not, the Black community as a whole was not meant to be treated as they were, and it was terrible. And at some point, those racist views will be looked down upon. They are mostly today, but there's still plenty existing in current America. Lastly, the theme stated pretty directly, Black people are equals with everyone else. Everyone is equals. No matter how differently they are treated, they are our equals. At some point, everyone will realize that every person in this country is an American. There's no difference there. That is at least one uniting factor, is we are all Americans. And it is a crucial aspect of what makes this country what it is people here. If the people don't exist, then there is no country. And this is a country that is supposed to be by the people and for the people. That's the government, but yeah, same idea. And that is why the Langston Hughes expresses that the Black community also is America. I too am America, as the quote is. And that is about all I have to say for my explication of this poem. More talking about the just views of what is being said in the poem, just really expressing equality. And that is the main idea, is that equality will exist, it needs to exist, and everyone deserves to be treated equally. Thank you.